everyone, it's Carol here. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for tuning in to watch my heart tassel necklace tutorial. Last week I showed you how to make these heart tassel earrings. Now these were made with some embroidery thread making and some seed beads to make the tassel and some beads to make the top part, including the stunning heart which is foil lined. Now I had a lot of people asking me if I could possibly make a necklace to match, so today I'm going to show you how to do that. Now I'm actually not going to show you how to make the tassel part because I already showed you when we did the earrings. I'll put a link in the description below so that you can take a look at how to make the tassel. What I am going to show you is how to make this chain portion. Spread it out a bit. So it's not very hard. It contains a lot of loops, not many beads, so it's not an expensive one to make, and a fairly long chain. Now this is a long necklace that sits quite low, kind of in your lower rib area, but you could of course make it shorter by just shortening the chain. So let's take a look at what you will need to make this necklace. I just wanted to say before we get started that if you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe and ring the bell so that you'll be advised whenever I upload new videos. That way you won't ever miss a thing, and it helps my channel grow so I can bring you more great beading projects. So to start, you will need one of these heart tassel pendants, obviously, and I'm not going to show you how to make this, and I'm not going to include the materials you need to make this. So if you haven't made this already, please go back and watch the video, and there I'll describe everything you need to make that. So you need one of those. You will need some chain. This is 54 centimeters of mother and son chain, and the reason it's called that is it's got a larger link and then a smaller link. You could obviously make this smaller with less chain if you wanted to. You will need 16 11/0 seed beads. These ones are purple and they are transparent. You will need 4 of these 12mm acrylic round silver beads, and these have a net finish on them. They're kind of cool. You will need 2 of these 6mm silver balls. You will need 4 of these 4mm silver balls, and you will need 8 of these 6x8 rondelles, and these are black with an AB finish. They're actually very cool too. They sparkle in the light. I love it when they have an AB finish. You will also need some wire. I have here some 20 gauge silver wire, and you should probably only need about 30 to 40 centimeters. So it's not a huge wire project. As far as tools are concerned, you will need some flush cutters. You will need, well, I'm going to use my one-step looper to make all the loops, but if you don't have a one-step looper, you will need some round nose pliers. You will also need some chain nose pliers. Let's get started. This necklace is made up of a series of components, and I've already made one half of the necklace so that you can see. So basically what we've got here is this component with the rondelle, then we've got this component with the acrylic round, and another component with the rondelle. So we join those together to make that portion of the necklace. Next, we've got this little component here, which is just your silver beads. And then we have a repeat of the first component. So it's really easy to make. And then we obviously join it all together to make our necklace. So I'm just going to pop that there so that we can refer to it. And I'm going to start by taking some wire and making a loop in the end. And as I said, I'm going to be using my one-step looper. And if you haven't seen the one-step looper before, it's an amazing tool. Makes life so much easier. I will actually show you how to make a loop anyway, but if you need help making loops, I have a video on how to make a simple loop, and you can watch that. I'll leave a link in the description below. So to make your loop using the one-step looper, you pop the wire through between the jaws here, and you put it through the hole on the end, and then you just close the jaws, and it cuts and makes the loop all at the same time, and there you have a perfect loop. And the cool thing about this is that they're the same size every single time. Sometimes you do need to close it up a little bit. That's okay. All right, now the first thing I'm going to do is take a seed bead. I've got a couple of my seed beads here, and pop it on the wire. I'm going to take one of my rondelles and pop it on the wire as well, and then a seed bead. Like that. And that's actually the first component. Now I'm going to make a loop in the end of the wire. So this time I've taken the wire all the way through the hole, and I'm bringing the beads right up to the side of the pliers here. My seed bead is getting stuck in there. I'll just get it out. I don't want my beads to be in over this black part. I want them to be on the side here. So just be careful, because seed beads can be crushed if you catch them in the jaws of the pliers. Oops, I've moved a little bit. Just pop it back up. Just like that. And just squeeze, take out the wire, and there's my component. Now I'm not going to close this up just yet, because I'm going to link it to the next component. So I'm just going to pop it over there, and we're going to make this part. So same thing. This time I'm going to show you how to make a loop using the round nose pliers. Now what I'm going to do here is actually I'm just going to trim off the end, because it's got a bit of a bend in it, and I want it to be nice and straight. So just using the flush side of my cutters and holding my finger over the end so that it doesn't fly away. Just popping off that piece. Now I'm taking my round nose pliers and I'm moving in, putting my wire through the jaw, between the jaws, about 1 centimetre in, and I'm making sure that it's not sticking up so that I can't feel the wire. And I'm just going to hold the pliers in my hand, and pop the wire between my fingers, and I'm going to twist away from me as far as my wrist will go. Remove the pliers and pop them back in on the lower jaw and twist some more. Now what I end up with is something that looks like this. Now, I actually want my wire to be centered, my loop to be centered, so I'm just going to push my fingernail in there and move it back. Sometimes it's easier to actually hold it with the pliers and do it that way. And I just adjust it so that it is centered. So there's my loop. The cool thing about using the one-step looper though is that you get all of your loops exactly the same size. So now I'm going to feed on just the acrylic bead here. So just popping that on, and I'm going back to using my one-step looper for this one. It's nice and quick and easy. Popping it on and just squeezing. And I'm going to take this component and add it to this component here. And I'm going to close up the loop. And I'm going to do that by holding the loop in the side, at the side here of where it's open, between the jaws of my pliers, and just wiggling it up and down with a little bit of pressure on it till it closes. Alright, so that's half of that component, well, 2/3 of that component already completed. Now I'm just going to repeat this piece. Make my loop first, seed bead first, and then, whoops, rondelle, and my seed bead. Then I'm going to make another loop in the other end. Just like before. And I'm going to use my pliers to slightly open the loop. And you open it the same way, so just twisting up. So you hold on to it on the side here and twist your hand down so the pliers come up. And you can see there the loop's open. I'm attaching this like that and closing it exactly the same way, basically reversing. So this time my hand's coming up and my pliers are going down. So there's that first part of the necklace. Now we're going to make this piece here with the silver balls, and it's basically the same process, and then we're going to make this one. So I'm just going to make a loop as I did before. Feed on. There we go. Feed on one silver 3mm, the 6mm, and the other 3mm. Just like that. And make another loop in the other end. Told you this was easy. Making the tassels a little bit more challenging. There's my component. So obviously I want to join it to this one. So let me show you how to do that. Well, it's basically the same process, isn't it? So opening my loop, popping this one on, and closing my loop. Now I'm actually not going to make you sit through watching me make that again because it is exactly the same process. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll come back when I've got 2 of these. Alright, I've finished my 2 pieces of the components all joined together. Now what I'm going to do is add them to the heart. So I've got my wrapped loop at the top of my heart. What I'm going to do is take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to open the loop on the end of this component here, just the same way as I did before, and I'm going to pop on my heart. Oops. And close the loop. Oops, it wants to escape on me. Just wiggling it to make sure it's nicely closed. Of course, I need to repeat that with the other side, so taking this one and opening the loop, popping it on the other side of my heart, or popping my heart on the other side and closing that loop. So now I have that. The last thing to do is to add the chain, and as I said, this is quite a long chain. You could absolutely make it shorter if you wanted a shorter pendant, and you could put a clasp on it too. I'm not going to do that. So to add the chain, I'm going to just open the loop on the other end, just in the same manner, and pop on the end link of the chain and close it up. Sometimes you have difficulty getting a good grip on that loop just because of where your hands are placed, but I've got it now. And in it goes, making sure it's nice and tight. and then the other side. Now when I put a chain on, I like to try and make sure that it's not twisted. So just run your fingers down it just to ensure that it's not twisted. I'm just going to open the loop here, pop that on. One thing to watch when you're doing this is that your seed bead doesn't get caught in the loop. Because it's so tiny, it can actually slide up into here and get caught in the loop. So you want to make sure that it's nicely tucked down before you close the loop. Down against the rondelle. All right, that's now closed. And that's it. Wasn't that easy? Once you've made the heart pendant, it's super easy to make this. And that's all there is to it. So remember, if you liked this necklace and liked my tutorial, please subscribe to my channel and like the video and ring the bell so that you'll be advised of upcoming projects. Thank you for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.